There's always that one guy in the group that jumps into danger head first, think later. If you happen to be that dumbass, Warrior's the best job for you. Warrior is a tank that wields axe and specializes in the short burst damage. With the Dawntrail update, Warrior plays exactly the same, but with one extra button that blinds yourself and prevents you from doing any mechanic, which is more accurate to you being a dumbass. But at the same time, Warrior is probably the best tank right now that can solo any dungeon with the amount of lifesteal and heals that it provides to himself, which also translates well into raids, with it being the most reliable main tank in most content, from Savage to Ultimates. In this guide, I will explain to you some rule of thumbs in playing the level 100 Warrior and show you the rotation itself so you can understand it better. This is Aylaveen and here's my level 100 Warrior rotation guide. The Dawntrail update brings only one extra GCD button for Warrior, which is Primal Ruination, that is a follow-up to Primal Rend, which I'm glad is not animation locked like Primal Rend and can be stored for quite some time. Some might even optimize it, but I don't think that's necessary. Also, aside from that one GCD, the new update also gives a follow-up OGCD to inner release that triggers after 3 fell cleaves, which is Primal Wrath, that I personally don't really like, because this mechanic makes the 3 fell cleaves even less flexible now and more punishing to miss. Other than that, there's not really much to talk about the level 100 Warrior aside from some animation changes, which brings us to some rule of thumbs that I need to explain. Number 1. Keep your Surging Tempest up at all times. Surging Tempest is a buff that increases your damage by 10% and is granted from Stormside. It can be extended by 30 seconds with the same skill and 10 seconds by inner release. But you have to be aware not to overcap it, as it has a maximum duration of 60 seconds, so only extend it if you have 30 seconds or less, and try to enter inner release with it being 50 seconds or less. Number 2. Use Upheaval on cooldown. Upheaval is a 30-second OGCD that deals 400 potency. You want to use it on cooldown, as drifting it might result in major DPS loss. Number 3. Use Inner Release on cooldown. Inner Release is your primary burst every minute, as it grants you 3 fell cleaves and 1 Primal Rend. And both have follow-ups with Primal Wrath and Primal Ruination, so you have to use everything that Inner Release allows you every minute. Number 4. Don't overcap your Beast Gauge. Beast Gauge is used for fell cleaves, which takes 50 gauge each. It is generated from various sources, with 10 from Maim and Stormside, 20 from Storm's Path, and 50 from Infuriate. Overcapping your Beast Gauge will result on less fell cleaves you will be able to execute, and which will result in DPS loss, so don't overcap it. Ideally, you want to spend all of your Beast Gauge on fell cleaves during the 2-minute raid buffs. Number 5. Don't overcap Infuriate. Infuriate comes with 2 stacks, but you want to keep it rolling and spend it all on the 2-minute burst with the raid buffs if possible. Number 6. Don't overcap Onslaught. Unlike Gunbreaker and Dark Knight, Onslaught, which is your primary gap closer, still deals damage. It comes with 3 charges, but you want to keep it rolling just like Infuriate. You also want to spend all of them within the 2-minute raid buff if possible. Now that it is out of the way, you might ask what GCD is ideal for Warrior right now, Ayla. Personally, I like going a bit faster on Warrior at 2.46, as it has more leeway for error or missed GCDs. But at the same time, it will drift your inner release. The other GCD that I would recommend is 2.50, which has less room for error but has no drift to your cooldowns, which is also the GCD used for this demo. Take a look.